On this episode, is Daryl done, son? Daley! 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 I was doing that. Sorry, I messed up your intro.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Morning Juice.
Morning, y'all. What's up?
Is Daryl done, son?
I don't think so.
Spoiler alert, we are definitely getting into some deep shit in this episode. Alright, so let's start off with Carol leaving. So what did you think about the whole thing of Carol leaving? I was completely destroyed by that.
Well, we already kind of had a hint it was coming at the end of last week. I really still don't understand what she's going through. I mean, we talked about it being a midlife crisis last week. I still kind of think it's that.
Carol's badass though, man. She needs to get back on that horse and ride.
Oh, I thought she lost it.
But she did this episode. We'll get to that in a minute. Because Daryl leaves too.
Yeah, I understand why Daryl, he's still, ever since Denise took the arrow to the eyeball.
Kind of blames it on himself.
Yeah, he feels responsible because he thought he should have killed him.
He should have killed Dwight when he had a chance.
Yeah.
I think that's true, but you can't just keep riding on that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to move on with life.
And it's like Glenn even told him, putting everybody at risk by going after him.
Yeah, exactly. So... Also, another thing that happened in the beginning that kind of hit me weird was Carl getting the gun. Was Carl getting the gun?
Yeah, I noticed, and I'd even said something to you. It had some kind of inscription on the handle, and I think it was the one he got his eyeball shot out with.
I absolutely think that is correct. I think it is the one he got his eyeball shot at. Shot ass at. Shot ass at. But yeah, I think Carl's in that tipping point where he's about to turn.
Yeah.
Like I think he's not talking much. They haven't showed him a whole lot. He's trying to heal from his wounds, but he's already kind of earlier on, even in the earlier seasons, you could see a dark side of Carl. I think this might have just pushed him right over the cliff here.
Bullet may have messed his brain up or something too.
Yeah, I mean that could have happened as well.
I mean Denise ain't the best of surgeons.
But Rick wakes up. He don't find out a whole lot about what's going on to start off with. But I noticed that Michonne and Glenn jump in a car and they're heading out to go find Daryl right away.
Rosita.
Well, Rosita comes up and she's like, "I'm going with you."
Yeah.
And they're like, "No, you're not." And she's like, "But I know where he's at."
Yep.
So it's like, okay, you take the person that actually knows where they're going, or we just ride around in circles for the next couple of days. So they head off looking for Daryl, and you have Maggie sitting there watching her husband go out on another dangerous mission once again.
She should be used to it.
She's used to it, but still, it's just one of those things. And then I noticed in a scene not long after that, you see a little male bonding between Abraham and Rick, which I thought was really cool because I want to see Abraham step up there and be like Rick's right-hand man.
I was really excited because Abraham, he hadn't really been all that edgy, and he said he was ready to tear some asses. So that was his exact words. So I'm kind of excited to
tear some asses.
I'm ready to see him get back to the way he used to be because he was one of my favorites as far as his killing style.
Yeah, he's the man when it comes to that stuff. I think it was awesome because Rick, finally Rick. What the fuck is going on? Shit, the chair's falling apart. Walker got it.
Yeah, it's been for a while, man.
Well, then Rick finally finds out about Carol leaving, and he's not happy about it.
I think he's still kind of feeling bad for when he sent her away the first time. So that's why he feels responsible to go get her. So
of course Rick's kicking into Rick mode, and he's jumping. He's like, "I'm gone. I'm going to get Carol back, or whatever." And he's like, "When did she leave?" And shit like that. And and then of course Morgan jumps in there. "I'm going with you."
I don't know what's happened to Morgan. He used to be so tough. Now he's such a puss.
He is a puss. Morgan, you're a puss. Sorry, your character's a puss. Which is Morgan.
Yeah. Man, when I watch these shows, I don't know the real names. They turn into those people.
Exactly. All right, so Morgan's like, I'm going with you and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Rick still doesn't know about what happened between Morgan and Carol in earlier episodes with the wolf.
I thought maybe Morgan was wanting to hold his hand or something, sing Kumbaya.
I think it was more of his guilt.
Yeah.
Because Carol did not turn soft until that incident between her and Morgan happened. And, you know, now Morgan's like my least favorite character because he turned my favorite female character into a complete and total wimp. Then what happens after that is it goes back to Glenn and Michonne and Rosita. And they get back to the tracks where Denise died. Okay? And then they find Daryl's bike under the brush pile right by the scene. And she's like, I know where he's at. They're heading into the woods, territory, whatever, looking for him. And it wasn't long at all, and they run into him.
Yeah, how convenient was it? Daryl left a long time before them, and I mean, they was on it just like that.
Yeah, well, I think it was more of the fact, well, I don't know. I think it probably wasn't as far earlier than that they left as we thought it was, or maybe he was contemplating his plan before he headed into the woods. I mean, anything could happen, or it could just be a television show,
probably
and it's not real, so they do it like this.
Hey, it is real. Look at this face.
But then Daryl's not happy with him being there. He's like, go back. I have to do this. Glenn's like giving him this big speech, blah, blah, blah. You don't need to go. You know what you're doing. You need to get back and help our people. Ha, ha, la, la. And then Daryl's like, he's not having it. So Rosita splits off and follows Daryl. Michonne and Glenn head an opposite direction. But then...
At which time I knew crap was fixing to get real.
Crap's fixing to get real. But then we go back to Carol's. Poor little Carol driving down the road with the car looked like Hellraiser Pinhead hanging out on top of it. Driving down the road, she gets her damn car shot up by a bunch of hillbillies in a pickup truck. We know about hillbillies.
Ain't nothing wrong with hillbillies in a pickup truck.
It's more like hillabillies.
Yeah, we're not really.
That's the Canadian way to say it. Hillbillies.
Like country redneck.
We're country rednecks. It's a little different. Hillbillies are crazy. We don't mess with hillbillies.
Hillbillies date your sisters.
Yeah. Basically what happens is they shoot up her car. She ends up having to stop. They get out. They're telling her, won't you come over here? Or, you know, they let her know that they know about Alexandria, which already blew my mind right there. They already knew about Alexandria. And they're like, won't you come over here and blah, 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 blah. And she starts crying and she starts doing that hyperventilating thing again.
And you know it is getting real.
Shit was getting real. I saw the cross in her hand with her hand up her shirt. And I'm like, what is she doing?
Trying to figure out how she was going to use the cross this time.
Yeah, I was like, she gonna run up there and stab him real quick. Then she starts saying stuff like, it don't have to be this way. No one has to get hurt. And I'm sitting there going, you're fixing to get hurt, Carol. And then I started thinking, oh, wait a minute, though. Then the gunfire. And I'm thinking, like, it's going to turn around, pan around, and Rick's going to be standing behind her or somebody.
Morgan wasn't going to be shooting.
Yeah, right. I thought it was going to be somebody standing behind her or followed her or whatever. No, she had a damn gun hit up her shirt crack.
You see the smoke coming out the sleeve.
And she's sitting there crying like she didn't mean to do it. And they're scared shitless at this point, like crawling around trying to get away from her stuff. It's like a horror movie.
I don't see how they wasn't all dead much as she shot.
So then from that, we'll just go ahead and skip ahead to Rick and Morgan's journey. Okay, so Rick and Morgan's going after Carol. They find the trucks and Carol's car. Carol, apparently, from what I could see, it looked like she had walked off in the distance on the road.
I didn't see which way she was.
It looked like you could see her on the road, walking down the road. But Rick and them see this blood trail going into this field and assume that's Carol.
But it's not.
It's not. They come up on a damn walker. Then Morgan decides to get all mushy with Rick and start telling him the story about what happened between him and Carol back at the thing. And I'm sitting here thinking, Rick's about to chop your damn head off. It's about to happen.
But he didn't. He held his cool.
He held his cool. I still don't at the end there when Morgan's like, Rick, go back to Alexandria. I'll go finish looking for Carol. And Rick hands him the gun. Like, that could have been a gesture of like, hey, take care of yourself and we'll see you soon. Or it could have been like, here's a gun, good luck, bye. Maggie and her new friend are hanging out and were they playing a game or something? Or were they eating or fixing food or something? They were doing something.
Yeah, I forgot, to be honest with you.
But then Maggie goes into these crazy stomach cramp pains. My wife was sitting beside me and she's like, she's having a miscarriage.
I don't know much about all that, but I've had some crazy stomach pains before.
The only doctor left is at Hilltop. Okay, people, and we'll talk about that in the previews coming up for next week for the finale.
I'm not happy about that.
I think I got zombie juice in my eyeball.
What you get for biting me?
All right, so then the infamous thing happens. Daryl and Rosita come walking up in the woods. They see Glenn and Michonne tied up and gagged.
Imagine that. They got captured. I never thought that would happen.
Not Michonne. Well, not Michonne.
I know it was coming when they split up.
Well, then Glenn is sitting there making all this noise, and I'm sitting there like, Glenn, shut the hell up, dude. You're going to get him caught. But Glenn already knew. Glenn already knew they were hiding in the woods waiting.
It brought me back to the week before when Denise was giving her spiel, and then poof. And then Glenn sitting there giving this same kind of big spiel. I
thought Glenn was fixing to get it.
I was expecting him to die.
Right.
Maybe next week.
So then, like he wants him to die.
I like Glenn. Glenn cool.
So then what happens is, here comes Dwight and one of his Goonies come walking up, and he says something. What did he say to him? He was like, drop that bow or something, or he says something to him.
I noticed he was walking a little funny when he come up.
Right. Comes walking up there, gets the gun out, he's got it on Daryl. It looked like Daryl went to turn, and then you hear a gunshot, and blood hits the camera. From what I could see, it looked like he shot like down at him towards his shoulder, or something like that, but a lot of people had different speculations of the line.
He said it wouldn't hurt long, so...
Yeah, the last line, actually, here's a little fact for you guys. The last line of him saying, oh, you'll be okay, or he'll be okay, or whatever he says, Dwight says at the end, that wasn't added until after they had already shot the whole episode. And the reason why they did that, and spoiler alert, this is what I read on the web, and I'm not knowing how much of it's 100% true, so I'm just telling you what I've heard, okay? But they added that line in there because of the situation that happened with Glenn at the dumpster. There were so many fans that were sending all this hate mail and stuff and like really starting to threaten producers and stuff, that the producer called up the character for Dwight and said, hey, we need to add this line in there so people can see that there's still hope. So the character that played Dwight apparently was interviewed by a news crew, and he told them that the reason why he said you'll be all right is because he said, I could have shot him in the head and killed him, but I only hit him in the shoulder. I don't know how much that's true.
Sounds like that fella needs to learn to shoot. Because last week when he shot Denise with that crossbow, he said, I wouldn't hit where I was aiming. This fella needs to come down here and let us teach him how to shoot.
Yeah, exactly. Come down here and let us rednecks teach you how to shoot.
Yeah, you won't be missing. I can promise you that.
All right, so we're going to jump real quickly into what's coming up for the big finale. First off, we will be filming our review on that episode outdoors. But basically, from what I see, what's coming up is it's looking like Rick and everybody's taking Maggie in an RV to Hilltop, probably to get medical help when they run into the infamous Negan.
And think about this. You got all these people in the woods, Morgan out on his little life journey, looking for Carol. And now they taking Maggie. Who's watching the city?
Yeah, exactly. They're leaving themselves completely open. But here's the thing. It shows Negan. It shows Negan with his bat with the barbed wire wrapped around it. My only question is this. In the comic books, it actually talks about Glenn getting his head bashed in by Negan's bat with the barbed wire wrapped around it. And from what I can hear online, a major character will be dying.
Well, it's about
this season.
It's about time. His 9 lives is pretty much about run out.
You guys leave your comments below and let us know what you think is going to happen on the season finale. We appreciate you watching this episode. And we will be seeing you guys tomorrow with a new episode. Or something.
Hanging loose, drinking juice.
Or blood.
A little tougher now that somebody bit me.
Please like and subscribe below. And please like and share on Facebook. It's not that hard to do. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.